Advocacy campaigns succeed using strong, structured objectives. Even those outside the campaign, by reading your objectives, should be able to predict your campaign actions. This short video guides you in setting objectives using the acronym SMART. SMART can be used to evaluate the strength and add structure to the campaign objectives. SMART objectives are specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-bound. To begin, ask, how specific is my campaign's objective? This is the most important part of setting objectives. If an objective is not specific, it is difficult to measure success and to establish a timeline for completion. Consider the difference between an objective to 1. Achieve gender equality versus 2. End child marriage versus 3. Raise awareness about the dangers of child marriage. The objective to achieve gender equality is much less specific than the objective to raise awareness about the dangers of child marriage. The next question to ask is, how is the objective measured? What determines success? Some objectives might be measured by a simple yes or no, such as holding a workshop, while other objectives are measured by using metrics, such as a survey to measure improvement in knowledge of the dangers of child marriage before and after a workshop. Keep in mind that in measuring the objective, you may not necessarily be measuring success. For example, attendance at the workshop does not necessarily mean improved knowledge. An alternative measure may be to track how many people you have reached with your campaign. But to what extent does this accurately reflect improved knowledge? Without access to a reliable way of measuring knowledge, we may want to consider restructuring our objective. Actionable is not asking yes or no, but how the objective will be achieved. What is our action plan? Do we have the resources and capabilities required to achieve success? If not, what are we lacking? Well-designed objectives make it clear which actions will lead to success. If the actions required to achieve an objective are unclear, or there are a large number of actions that need to be taken, we should consider breaking down the main objective into individual, actionable sub-objectives. On its own, any objective is relevant. But in campaigns, we are juggling multiple objectives. A common issue we face is having too many objectives at the same time, or pursuing the wrong objectives. Therefore, it is helpful to use a mechanism to determine which objectives we should be prioritizing. One way to do this is to place objectives in a matrix that compares effort required versus the value of achieving the objective. Ideally, we want to focus our energy on objectives that require low effort but provide high value. Another technique is to use the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. Ask, which are the 20% of objectives that will yield 80% of our return? Lastly, we need to ensure our objectives are time-bound. By providing a timeline to accomplish our objectives, we can provide incentive and allow ourselves to monitor progress. Avoid open-ended objectives. Consider the difference between the objective to raise awareness about the dangers of child marriage and the objective to raise awareness about the dangers of child marriage through 10 educational workshops held in 10 weeks. Simply by including an element of time, we can now plan that we need to hold at least one workshop per week to reach our objective. If after week 4 we have held only one workshop, then we can revisit our action plan. When using SMART, stay flexible and motivated by setting aside time to evaluate your objectives on a regular basis. Objective setting is not an event, but rather a process of ongoing action, evaluation, and revision. Revising objectives does not mean lowering targets or standards. It's about understanding that objectives are dynamic and that social, political, and economic realities are ever changing. An objective that is relevant today may be irrelevant tomorrow. The best campaigns are reactive and responsive.